Hey everybody, this is Allie from Allie Loops Crochet, and today we're going to be making a washcloth. This video is for absolute beginners, so if you have literally never picked up a crochet hook in your life, stick around. I'm going to show you how it works. We are going to need some 100% cotton yarn. You can find on the label that it will say 100% cotton, best for washcloths. You will also need a crochet hook. This is a 5mm crochet hook, also a size H, and I use Clover Amour hook because I think it moves really nicely through the yarn and it's really smooth. But you are welcome to use any hook that you have as long as it has 5mm on it. And make sure you have scissors and a needle just for the end when we need to tie off the yarn and hide it. Let's get started by making a slip knot. If you've never made a slip knot before, we're just going to pretend like we're tying a knot in the string, just like this, but instead of pulling the end out, I'm going to actually put that end back in, pretend like I didn't pull it out, and hold on to the part that you would have pulled out. This is the loop that we're making, and we're going to just tighten the knot around here. If you did it right, you should be able to tighten the loop that we have, or you should be able to loosen it just by pulling on this string that you tied it around. Or you can pull on this end and completely take it out. Let's do that again. So I'm going to tie a knot, but instead of pulling the end through like I would, I'm going to grab the end on both sides, grab it on this side and on this side, and just tighten that knot. And now that we have the slip knot, we can put it on the hook, and we want this slip knot to be a good size that it can just like slip in and out of the hook with no issues, but we don't want it to be too loose. So we're gonna just make sure that the hook can fit right through there. Next, we're gonna talk about how to hold the hook. I'm gonna hold this hook just like I would a knife if I'm cutting vegetables. And my thumb is gonna go in this little indent here. It's kind of a flat part on this hook, and I'll show you right here. It's more of an indent right here on this hook where you would hold your thumb. And now that you have a hold on your hook, you should be able to move it in and out or up and down on this slip knot here. Now we have our yarn, we have our dominant hand holding onto this hook. Now we got to talk about our non-dominant hand, how we are going to hold on to this working yarn. The working yarn is the one that's attached to the yarn ball. This end would be the tail, this end would be the working yarn. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create an L with my fingers, and I'm going to use these 3 fingers down here that are pointing down to wrap around to grab onto this working yarn right here. And then I'm going to use this pointer finger here and wrap it in front of the yarn so that it's just sitting on top of my finger there. And what's really important is that we have some tension in between this finger and the hook. It needs to be tight, but not so tight that it won't go over your finger. So what we're going to do is we're going to practice this grip with the yarn just moving over this finger, and I want you to slide it over your finger about 3 to 5 times. Grab the yarn, wrap your finger under in front, and slide that yarn over your finger so you can feel that it's tight here, but it's not going to stop you from working with that yarn, because when you use the crochet hook, you're going to be pulling this yarn over your finger. So just get used to that grip with the finger sliding underneath the yarn. Once you're comfortable with this grip and this tension, we're going to add one more spot of tension. We're going to take our thumb and our middle finger, and we're going to pinch right here on this knot, on that slip knot that we made. And what that does is it's going to create another little bit of tension between the hook and your knot so that the loop is big enough, it's tight enough that the nose of the hook will actually slip through. So if you're ever having problems throughout the crocheting that you are not able to get your hook through, check to make sure that you are pinching close enough to hold it out so that the hook will actually go through. So we have tension right here and we have tension right here. Now I'm going to show you how to do what's called a chain stitch. And chain stitch, I'll show you really quick just so you know what we're talking about. It's just where you grab the yarn and pull it through and make a new loop on top of the loop that you just made. And these are going to be the stitches right here. So you're just basically making loops inside of loops. I'm going to take that out just so that I can show you better. A little bit slower. Back down to my slip knot, holding the hook, gripping the yarn, pinching that knot. So what I'm going to do, pay attention to the hook and the direction that it is. It's going to start facing towards me and wrap around the yarn. I'm going to go in front, and then I'm going to pull it towards this first loop that I had. And when I get close to the loop, I'm going to turn the nose down. You see how it was up and now it's down, because if it's up, it's not going to fit through that loop. So now it's down, so I'm going to pull it through that loop and pull it up. And I'm going to pull on this yarn a little bit. Notice how you can make this, just like the slip knot, you can make it bigger or you can make it smaller depending on where you pull. But we want it to be about the same size that you started with your slip knot loop. Let me show you that again. And when I move up, so I'm going to actually move my pinch up closer just so I have more control right here. So I'm going to go in front of the yarn, grab it, pull it through, and pull up a little bit just so that it's about the same size that I started with. So now I have 2 chain stitches. I'm going to do that 27 times. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And let me pause for a minute. I'm going to take this hook out just so that I can show you what it looks like so far. This right here is 10 stitches, and I can show you what a stitch looks like. It's the V. So this is the loop. It is not a stitch yet. This V right here was 1 loop, so that's a stitch. This is a stitch right here. This is a stitch, so that's 3. I have 4. I have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And especially if this is your first time crocheting, they probably won't be as even as this because the loops are just going to be bigger or smaller as you go. You're going to get so much more used to it, and you're going to find a good tension for yourself and figure it out. I already lost my count. I thought I could count while talking. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. I need 7 more. 1, 2, 3, and make sure as you're going, you're moving your pinch up closer so that you have control. 4, 5, 6, 7. And this is what that should look like. This is called the starting chain. So what we're going to do is we're going to, let's find the bottom of this. So when I made, there it is. Nope, that's not it. There it is. When I made this, I had a starting chain right here at the bottom. And then I will make what's called a double crochet, a row of double crochet right here. And I'm going to crochet into each one of these chains that I made. And then once I get done with that, I will crochet back this way, more double crochets, and we'll do 14 rows of double crochets. Before I show you how to double crochet, I want to show you what this looks like and where we're going to be inserting our hook. So we have, I showed you these stitches. These are the loops that we made, but I have not showed you the back loop that is created every time that we make a new stitch. So this is the last stitch that we did, this little V with the loop. And it has a back loop kind of in between the 2 stitches right here that we're going to work into. I'll show you how we do that. We just put our hook right through there, but we're going to skip the first 2 back loops. So skip this one right here and skip this one right here. Again, yours probably won't be quite this even, so they might be a little bit more difficult to find. But right now we're going to the third back loop, 1, 2, 3. So this is where we're going to be putting our hook when we get going. If for some reason you cannot find the back loops, then feel free to just choose one of the front loops to crochet into. Just try and keep it very consistent all the way down as to where you are putting your hook. There are quite a few steps to double crochet. I need you to be patient with yourself. If you have to pause the video or slow it down, do whatever you need to work on it and figure it out. You can do it, and it really will be so worth it. I'm going to show you slowly how to do one double crochet. You're going to do what we call yarn over. We did this just when we were doing a chain. We're grabbing the yarn, that's called a yarn over, and we're going to insert our hook into that back loop that I showed you. We're going to yarn over again and pull it through that back loop. And make sure you pull it up just like you did for the chains so that you can actually fit your hook through there. And now we have 3 loops on the hook. We're going to yarn over and pull it through 2 of those stitches. And pull up. And then yarn over and pull it through the last 2. So I just made a double crochet. Hopefully you did too. This is called the post of the double crochet. This is where you can see the loop that we had before, and that's where you can count your stitches. I'm going to show you again. So yarn over, insert into that back loop, the next back loop, yarn over again and pull through. So you have 3 on, yarn over and pull through 2 loops, and then yarn over and pull through 2 again. And every time you pull a loop up, make sure you have enough. Make sure it's a good size. That will help with your consistency and your tension, making sure that this loop is the same size every time. Yarn over, insert hook, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. I'm going to start working a little bit faster through this. Working into a chain is not the easiest thing to do. This is the hardest row of all of the washcloth that we are doing. And if this is your first time working into a chain, you're doing great. However you're doing, it's great, and I'm proud of you for trying it. So because we've skipped the first 2 chain stitches, or the last 2 chain stitches that we made, we should have 25 double crochets when we're done with this. And here is my last double crochet. I'm working into that first slip knot that I made into a chain. And I'll pull that loose so that I can show you what we're doing, what we did. This is what it should look like. We have 25 double crochets. It's probably easiest to just count the posts. Make sure you have 25. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. If for some reason you have less than that, it is probably because the chain got twisted and it was not really easy to see which stitches you were supposed to go into. So here's the chain that we have, that we did 27. Here's the last 2 of those 27 chain. And then here's what it looks like on top. If for some reason you got 24 stitches or 23 stitches, then go ahead and just keep going and pretend like you have 25. But after this, you need to make sure you have the same number that you started with. So if this is 23, then I need my second row to be 23 and my third row to be 23. I need to make sure that it is straight on both sides, so it has the same amount in every single row. If you have less than 23, then go ahead and take it out and try again. Unfortunately, that is a big part of crochet, is taking things out and trying them again. Okay, now that we're at the end of row 1, what we're going to do is one more chain stitch. This is called a turning chain because I'm going to just chain stitch. That's the same thing that we did for the 27 down here. And then I'm going to turn my work so that I'm still working in this direction. Now we're going to be doing 25 double crochet again, but instead of working into the chain, we get to work into the double crochet that we made from the last round. So let me show you where that is. Here is the loop that we have right here, right? The chain that we just made for the turning chain is right here. And then this is the last double crochet that we made. We're going to go through, in that last double crochet, we're going to go through go under both loops of that V right there. And that's where we're working into. And it's the same steps as a double crochet before, where you yarn over, insert hook, but you go through both of those loops there, yarn over, pull through those loops so that you have 3 on your hook, just like you did for when you were working into a chain. Yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. And then you're going to do that again 25 times. And let me show you what this last one looks like. We're going to work into the double crochet. This is the second to last double crochet, and I'm going into that one. And the last double crochet is right here. I'm going to go into, sometimes it's a little bit tight or twisted right here, but you're going to find the 2 loops that look like they could be the double crochet and insert your hook into that. And then it's really important that you count your stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. And then we're going to keep doing the same thing over and over again until we have 14 rows of double crochet. We have 2 right now, so we have to do 12 more. So at the end of each row, we chain 1 and turn our work, and then get going on our 25 double crochet. I am going to show you my last double crochet of row 3 just because sometimes it helps to see what you're looking at. This double crochet, slightly harder to find the 2 loops, but they're right there. If you look at certain angles, you can find them a little bit easier. So now I have 3 rows of double crochet. I'm going to go find a comfortable spot to sit, and I will be back after I have 14. I am back. I have 14 rounds of double crochet. I will count that just so you can see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. It's really nice when you have this yarn that changes colors all the time because it's a lot easier to see your stitches and count. So now what I'm doing is I'm just folding it in this corner right here to see if I actually need to do another round or not. because sometimes my stitches are a little bit tighter, so I will need 15 rounds to make it square. So what I do is I will kind of triangle it, and I see that there's like this much left. That's a little bit less than, it's shorter than a double crochet would be, so I'm gonna count that as good, and I'm gonna go onto the border. So for the border, put my hook back in there. What we are gonna do is a single crochet all the way around, and I will show you how to do a single crochet. The trick is that you don't want to do too many single crochets or too little single crochets, because you want it to lay pretty flat here. And right here you don't have something like these stitches to show you exactly where to go. So when I insert my hook, I'm just going to insert it into random places all the way down. So you might have to take out, just try it and take it out if there are too few. If there are too few, it'll be kind of obvious that you need more to fill it in. Just play around with it. So what I'm going to do is go through the post of this double crochet, and a single crochet, instead of wrapping it around first, you're going to start by inserting your hook in here, grab the yarn and pull it through. So there are only 2 loops on your hook right now. Grab the yarn and pull it through 2. That is a double crochet, not a double crochet. That's a single crochet. That's a single crochet. So now I'm going to do the same thing here. Insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. A lot less steps than the double crochet, and I'm just going to do that same exact thing all the way down to the bottom corner. Okay, I'm gonna do that one in a second, but first I will lay it flat and make sure that I have enough. And I've made a few of these, so I actually know a little bit on as to like where I'm gonna put my hook and how many I need. And I do about 2 stitches for every single row. So this ends up being, if there are 14 rows here, there would be about 28 stitches down here. When I get to the corner, I'm going to do 3 single crochet all into the same spot right here. So insert, yarn over, all the steps. And then I go right back into the same spot for the next one and for the next one. And that just creates a nice little rounded edge right here in the corner. And when I go down, go across the bottom, I'm going to try to go through both loops. This is actually the chain 27 that we started with, so I'm gonna go through both loops of that chain. This is a little bit tighter too, so harder to get the hook into those loops. And now I'm in the corner, so I'm going to do 3 into that corner, just like I did on the other side. 1, 2, 3. And this yarn tail was the tail that we started out with. And I really should have mentioned this. If you have 15 rows instead of 14, then this tail would have ended up on this corner. And what you can do, not necessary, you can tie it and hide it later, but what I like to do is I like to take this tail and just crochet over it so that I can just cut it off later. So I'm inserting my hook and I'm gonna go basically have that be inside of the stitch right there. And I'm gonna keep it there as long as I can. Probably can't see it well. It kind of ends up being a little bit behind there, but it's still there. And when you get close to the end of that yarn bit, that tail, you want to pull it tight like this so it doesn't warp the size or shape of anything. Now I'm going to just let it hang out and I'll just cut it off later. And don't forget to do 3 into the corner, all in the same spot there. 2, 3. And then for the last side, you get to just go through both loops like you have been for those double crochets. And you are going to need 3 double crochets in this last corner too, because we didn't do that at the beginning. I've been doing double crochets, haven't I? Look at that, I switched right here from single crochet to double crochet. I've been doing a lot of double crochet lately. Whoops. Single crochets. Now we're going to do 3 single crochets into this corner. 2, 3. There we go. And that is the end of the crocheting, and we get to finish this off. So I'm going to cut a tail off, kind of a decent sized tail that you can work with, and pull this all the way out. And it kind of leaves you with this little opening right here, so I'm going to show you how to hide that so it kind of looks like it's just continuing stitches. So you're going to go through, skip this stitch, this is the next one that you would have gone through, and go to the next stitch and pull the yarn through both of those stitches, and then go back to the stitch that you just finished, go underneath in between that V and pull the yarn through, and you can kind of pull that tight and shape it a little bit, but it should look like it just continues on this pattern right here. We are so close to being done. We just have to get rid of this last tail, and if you happened to leave one from the bottom, use the same steps for this one. I'm going to get rid of it in a way that there is no way it's going to unravel. I'm going to go to the bottom and split it into 2 pieces of yarn. See that there are kind of 4 bits that make up this yarn. Depending on the yarn you're using, this may not be possible, and you can just use the one and skip the splitting step, but I like to split it into two just to make sure that it will never unravel. In the washing machine or in the shower, it can handle what it's gonna go through. So what I'm gonna do now is I just thread that needle. Sorry, I just stopped instructing for a while. Thread that needle, and I'm gonna just grab onto a yarn and pull it through, just so that the two ends are in separate spots and I can tie them together really tight. You can do a square knot or whatever knot you want, just knot them together. And then we're going to take the end that has the needle on it and thread it through. You can go anywhere, you can go along the border, you can go inside. We're just hiding this yarn right now at this point. And I feel like my stitches are pretty tight, so they're gonna hide it really well, and it's not gonna slide out at all. But if you are worried about it sliding out, try to get like inside the stitches. Don't go all the way underneath. Like, try and catch the fibers of the yarn a little bit as you're going through. So we go one way, we go, I don't know, 5 inches or so, 4 to 6 inches, and then you're gonna grab the yarn just so it doesn't unravel, and then go back the other way. And I'm actually running out of yarn, so I'm not going to go all the way back. I think that is plenty. Pull it tight, and then I'm going to do the same thing with the other end. And I'm going to go the same direction. You don't have to go the same direction as the other side, as the other part of the yarn. I think it works though. And when you are pulling it through, be careful that you're not like tightening it and making the stitches too close together. Let me show you what I mean by that. If you pull this really tight, all of the stitches might just be like too close together. So make sure you spread it out before you go back the other way. Last step, my favorite thing, the scissors. Pull this tight, make sure you get really close to that yarn, to the washcloth, and just cut it off. And you are done. I actually forgot to clip the other side too. Huh. There is our washcloth. I want to congratulate you on finishing your washcloth, finishing your first crochet project. You did amazing. It probably won't look perfect, but the fact that you finished it is so incredible. Please tell me about your experience. I would love to hear about it. And if you have any questions, please reach out to me and you can be my new crochet buddy. But for now, I will talk to you all later.